So we've installed Lens Studio and now we're ready to actually start making our own face lens. I'm going to go ahead and double click on my Lens Studio icon right here to open it up, and it will pop open the software and it will bring us to the home page. Boom. So here we are at the home page. We're going to start with a template. And the template that we're going to go to, I'll click on templates right here. And I want to look for one called photo. Boop, 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 boop. Let's see, makeup, fit, photo, right here. Right here, and it's great because you can hover over these things and they show little animations of what you're making. You can also go to File, New Project, or New Project from Template, and you can do it all by face stuff, and you'll find photo in here, or you can do it here. So I'm going to click on photo, and we're going to start playing around. It will load this template project for us. And, oh, there I am. Let's go ahead and move my camera just a little bit. There we go. Hi, that's me. You might be on a thing like this, and this is showing you what it looks like, so you can see it on a picture. You can also click over here, and I'm at the preview window over here, and there's even things like video. So you can have a person just kind of hanging out and chilling. Or you can select a pair of people and see how this affects. Now this is affecting only one face at a time, so you can understand how it looks. Yeah! I'm going to move it to the webcam. Right here you have this option to use webcam mode. If you have a webcam hooked up, this is great and it's fun and it's going to be a little awkward. Hi, me. Let's go like that. Their tracking is actually really good. It's pretty fast and super rad. I might not leave my photo up the whole time, but just kind of go back and forth because this is super distracting. And I'm looking at that and not the camera, and it's weird. So let's go ahead back. I'm going to go back to the image video mode so we can just see this image of this person that I put here. I went to video. I like this one because they're moving around a little bit. They're opening their mouth. Fun times. So let's take a quick look at the layout of Lens Studio. We have a few different things here. We have drop-down menus where you can find different things like import new project, etc. We have the button to publish our lens. You need to have your account hooked up in order to publish a lens, so that's why I signed in. We have project info, which will tell us about like what cameras it can use, and we can give a hint about things, a hint that says like, hey, make a face, make a kissy face, to give them some instruction. We can name our lens, and I'm just going to name this sideshow AR workshop. Oop, that's okay. Sideshow AR. That will be good. I'll hit apply. So those are kind of those things there. This will tell you how big it is, how much stuff is in there. So now we have our objects window. Actually, let's go ahead and play around here just to get out of this zone right here. This is a 3D window that you can scroll around by, like, you can select in it with your mouse. You can middle mouse click or hold down your scroll wheel to go around, or you can right click to kind of sort of orbit. But we're not going to use the 3D that much because we're just doing a photo face thing. So there's this view 2D scene up here. Let's click on that and we'll actually see our 2D scene stuff, which is pretty nice and simple. Under camera, oh, I went back to that. View 2D scene. So here we'll have things like face retouch. There we go. Face retouch, if we go to this, and I'm in the objects window, and this is where we put things like effects or pictures or the actual things that we're applying. So right in here, you'll see face retouch. When we press on these little icons, it'll take us back to that 3D menu, but we can twirl them open with these little twirly doodles, these triangles right here. So I'm just going to touch the retouch, and we'll see inside of our viewer window here, or our scene window, we're seeing what it's actually doing. So retouch is an effect, and on the left you see the original photo, and you see what it's doing to it over here. If we go farther over to the right, we get to our inspector. And our inspector window is where we can adjust the effects and the objects that are in our object window. So like the soft skin, we can soften it more or less. Teeth whitening, we can make them pearly whites. Eye sharpening, so like it's very contrasting, we can see it. Eye whitening. So there's a lot that you can do here. I'm not a huge fan of the face filters, but some people love them, or of the actual face retouch. So underneath that, we'll see something like our mask, our face mask here. And when we look at our face mask, we got this really interesting weird grid over here. And this is the grid that's saying like where, this is this alignment, and it's taking the photo, and this is the original photo, and it's aligning it so it can re-put it on this person's face. So we can actually go ahead and grab some of these points in here, and if you notice, while I move this around here, these points, the face mask moves around here. So if I start to like really bring some of this stuff down, we can really make this face mask look pretty crazy. So it no longer even resembles the no longer actually even resembles the mask or the photo that we're originally using. It starts to become this insane clown thing. Maybe an insane clown posse thing. We're super juggaloing up some people. All right. So yeah, this is how we actually adjust face masks and face track things that we put on people's faces, is through this method. But there's another little thing here. So this is the texture. Over here is the opacity. In an opacity mask, where it's white, it's going to show up, and where it's dark, it is not. So right now we have this set up so we can see the eyes and the mouth. But if we were to close this, you'll, let's see, if we were to close, make this smaller or even wider, you'll see it starts to go over the eyes and the stuff here. So I'm not loving this. I'm not loving what I just did. So right here, there's these two buttons. One, symmetrical mode, means that on both sides it will happen evenly. If we turn that off, it will not be even on both sides when we move these little dots. I'm going to turn that back on. And then there's a reset. I'm going to go ahead and hit that reset there. And I'm going to go back to my texture, and if I've messed this up so much that it's so bad, there's also this thing here where I can either hit the reset, which will be actually kind of bonkers, and you can actually see the full face in there, but there's this middle button right here at the bottom called Detect Face, and it will actually find the facial features and it will map it for you. It's very good at doing that. So those are some of the texture effects that you'll find in these windows. Below that, over here, we have our resource window and our scene configuration window. We're not going to focus on this much, but we will talk about this resource window. The resource window is where we have all of the resources or files that we're actually using inside of this project. So you'll see textures here. If I twirl that open, you'll see a render target, device, echo park. These are for something that we won't be using. But you'll also see we have an example texture, which is the photo being used right here. If we go ahead and click and open this, you'll see that there are, over here, the opacity texture show us our different kinds of opacities that we can do. By default, let's go ahead and go back up to our objects menu and click on that face mask. You'll see inside the inspector here, there's things like a default material, texture. It has this little space here, and opacity texture. Opacity texture says full, no eyes, lips. So if we look down here, once again in our resource window under the opacity textures window, you'll see there's one called full, no eyes, lips, and that's that. But I'm going to go ahead and go back to the face mask up top here under effects. I'm going to go ahead and take the, let's see, I2 and drag this. So under opacity textures, I2, this is a photo, and I'm clicking and dragging it over to the texture window, the inspector window here, and dropping it. Now, I put that in the wrong one, so I'm going to hit Control Z. I put that in texture. I want to put that under opacity texture. Boom. And now it's only going around the eyes. So if you've clicked one of these and you're like, okay, I'm ready to drag, and you realize, oh, it's not there, what happened is you clicked on this and let go. So I'm going to go ahead, so just go ahead back up to the effects, face mask, edit me. And when you select one of these, like let's say I4, don't let go. Click and drag it into the opacity textures, and you'll see how it changes these. We can even do just lips. So it's only messing with the lips. So there's a lot of stuff we can do with this that's pretty rad. Now, if I want to change something that's inside of here or change this texture to something of my own, a different photo, I can import textures and assets into here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and minimize this briefly. I forgot to mention at the top that in the actual description of this video, there is a link to project files, and that is called Sideshow AR Lens Studio. When you download that, it will download a folder with an assets folder in it. But I need to uncompress this. It's a zip file. So on Windows, I can right click and I can just hit extract all, and I'm going to let it extract it onto the desktop where I save the download to, and I have checked show extracted files when complete. I'll hit extract, and it will open up this folder, and you can see the folder here. And inside the folder is my Sideshow AR Lens Studio, and inside that you'll see a folder called Assets. There might be another folder here if I update this. But when I click on that, you'll see a few different things. You'll see a little picture that I've made before. You'll see a reference image here, and you'll see a face template that is a GIMP file for the next video, and you'll see a picture of my dad. So what I want to do is I want to import the photo of my dad. So I'm going to go ahead and click back on my Lens Studio, and it is full screen right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of click it and drag it, and it will make it smaller. And if I need to, I can go ahead and hover over the edge and sort of do this, and that's fine. Now I want to bring this picture of my dad in. So it's really simple here. I can just go to the picture of my dad and click and drag it into my resources window. You'll see it say copy, and it's going to copy that JPEG picture of my dad in there, and now it's in here. I have this picture of my dad. I made him wear makeup. It was pretty fun. It's not a black eye. It's just, there's me on the side, but okay, enough said. So you can go ahead and do that. Bring in the picture of my dad. He's the greatest. And I want to replace this photo right here, this texture, with the face of my dad. Let's go ahead and put on the webcam right now so we can see me. Oh, there I am with the awesome stuff on my lips. I'm going to go to the face mask edit me template. Cool. And you'll see over here we have the opacity texture and the texture above it. This is the example texture. It says remove me. We're going to replace that with the picture of my dad. I'm just clicking and dragging it over here. That's one option. You know what? Let me show you the other option. So with face mask edit me selected, I can just click on this right here on that example texture, and it will show me my inspector window here. And I can select the picture of my dad and hit OK. And now we get some of my dad's lips or his chin on my face. I'm going to go down to the opacity texture below that, click on that, and I can click in the opacity textures folders. I'm going to go back to the full no eyes lips, and this is bonkers. But so what I need to do is I need to actually get this texture to line up here. Now I could reset it and hit the reset points and give it a sec, and it's just super big. Or I can go to the detect face right here. Let's click on detect face. Boom. When it detects face, it actually detects the outline as best it can on my dad's face, and now my dad's face is on my face. Hi, Dad. Hi. Oh, I am. Oh, this is kind of weird, actually. Now I can go through and actually kind of adjust these a little bit to get them to be a little bit of a little better of an outline of my dad's face, like get more of that chin down there. All right. Oh, this is creepy and fun. And this is my dad's face. So this is like the quickest, easiest way to do this. But what I want to do is continue and actually draw, paint our own actual Snapchat lens face in GIMP, which we will go over in the next video. GIMP is like a free open source alternative to Photoshop. And so yeah, we'll continue in the next video. But first, we should do this. This is very important. Let's go to File, Save. Saving your actual document is a huge deal. Sometimes programs like this are pretty robust and they crash. So I say it right when you open it, you should probably save it. And I wish I had done that. I'm going to go to my desktop. Boop, 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 boop. Ba, 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 ba. I'm my dad. I am my dad. Desktop. And let's see. Where is the Sideshow AR Lens Studio? So I'm going to save this in the folder that I made, and I'm going to call this let's call it Sideshow _ workshop _ lens. I use underscores because I don't like using spaces, because sometimes that has problems. I'm going to hit save, and it has saved that in there. Let's go ahead and minimize real quick, and I'm going to go back to, let me X that out. We'll go to this Sideshow folder. I saved it in here, and you'll see when it saves the project, Sideshow AR Lens Studio. Oh, sorry. This is the one, Workshop Lens, and I spelled lens incorrectly. It saves a folder, and inside that folder you'll see the actual project file. You'll see things like previews, there's nothing in there right now. Public will have things like the textures, and right there, and I'm just previewing these things, these are the textures. This is where all the assets are that are part of the project. So it's actually going to start saving it in a single location. So if anytime you save it, it will move stuff and copy it into there, which is pretty great. I'm going to X that out and open up Lens Studio again. Hi, me, Dad. It's me, Dad. Okay, I could actually spend like hours playing, pretending to be my dad, but I'm not going to. We will continue with this by jumping into GIMP, and I'll see you at the next video. Ugh.